Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is February 27th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, the markets tried to go higher, but fell. Basically, balancing. It's pretty bullish still. Tech still driving the market. This morning, Bitcoin is really driving the market. Well, not driving the market, but Bitcoin higher, driving all crypto-related stocks, pushing towards 60K. Crazy. It was just 50K. Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. All right, so let's just get into this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, buying profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, anchor VWAPs, and the most traded price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the previous day. All helps me find who's in control, right? Well, this year it's not really hard to figure that out, but that's what helps me intraday to figure out who's in control. And it's pretty easy to see. And we'll go over that in a little bit. If you can, subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. Alright, and if you enjoy my content, please give me a big thumbs up. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, so let's get into our futures watch list here. Bitcoin up 4.26%. Ether's up 2.19. Russell up 0.84. Silver's up 0.53. 30-year bonds being bought. Gold's up 0.37. Nasdaq's up 0.21. ES up 0.09. Crude is flat. It was just down earlier. All right. I regret I missed an entry yesterday. I was about to enter long at the bottom of that range, and that would have been a beautiful trade. But I didn't take it, so that's trading. The dollar is down 0.12, and the VIX is down 0.95. Okay, still earnings coming out yesterday and this morning. We'll talk briefly about those. Let's move over to the Max 7 Plus. This morning, coin is just on a tear. That stock just moves like crazy. I mean, this thing closed yesterday at 20. I'm sorry, at 193. It's already at 208. It was at like in this 160s a couple days ago. It's pretty nuts. Tesla starting to make a move. Right, closed at 199 yesterday. 200 is a large positive gamma level. So right now up 1.72. Baba up 1.16. Excuse me. Netflix up 1.12. Snow is going to report after the close on Wednesday. Google sold off pretty hard yesterday on that bad search results for AI. That's recovering a little bit. Now, laggards, they're not really lagging that much, but surprisingly, Nvidia, but it's only down 0.12. Amazon's down 0.15. Nvidia 800 is that key level, right? That's that huge gamma level I've been talking about. I think once it breaks 800 and it tries to make a leg higher, that's when the Nasdaq probably will break. Maybe for its final run, I don't know. But if you look at the weekly candles, there's been 3 weeks that kind of hit a resistance point and pull back. I think that could be the last push higher. And it might not be, but I'm saying like that's kind of setting up for one more push there. All right, let's look at the top sector stocks here. And Salesforce, who will report earnings after the close on Wednesday, they're up 0.42. Costco, when do they report? Costco just always goes up. 3 point March 7th. Qualcomm, I mean Walmart had the split, so that stock now is like 59 bucks. Lowe's reported earnings, and I'm surprised Lowe's isn't down more because it wasn't. They didn't have the best earnings, and they looking at the weak economic activity. Um, Chevron is down 0.62. Eli Lilly is pulling back. Now that's been a monster too for healthcare. Eli Lilly. Now why is Eli Lilly pulling back? Maybe we could find out here. Viking Therapeutic stock surges 100% on positive weight loss drug. Oh, that's why. Okay. I think that's Norvo or something. Norvo ticker, the for the weight loss drug that's a competitor to Ozempic. That's probably why this is down. I mean, that's not probably why, it is the reason. Then I did see something about oil companies doing some kind of something together. Maybe that's why Chevron is down. Um, that's looking at that. Looking at our swing trade, my swing trade list. Let's look at the top there. SoundHound, they're reporting earnings after the close on Thursday. That's also tied to Nvidia. They are up 21%. Mara, of course, this is all like Bitcoin, crypto related stuff. Mara's up 10%. Monster, MicroStrategy's up 10%. Monster. Norwegian Cruise Lines reported earnings before today. I'm assuming it's good because it's up 9.54%. Zoom, I know, beat earnings. Carnival Cruise Lines is going to get sympathy with Norwegian Cruise Lines. Obviously, this is the Bitcoin ETF. That's up 5%. Palo Alto had that huge miss on earnings. It took a dip at the 200-day moving average, and obviously people are buying that, of course, with the cyber attack with the phones the other day. RXRX, that's also involved with uh, Nvidia, that is up 4.3. So it's a bunch of Riot, of course. Royal Caribbean, this is all sympathy plays with Norwegian Cruise Lines. Micron, Hood, Carvana, SoFi. Those are the leaders this morning. All right, is there laggards? Yes, there is. Unity Software had earnings. Okay, they're down 12%. Workday had earnings. They're down 3%. Hess, like I said, is also involved in something with Chevron. I have to look at that. I was reading that just earlier. Roku got a downgrade. Supermicro Computers been a hot stock. They're down 1.29%. ARM's down 0.82. So a little different here. Supermicro Computers and ARM not really killing it. Just like Nvidia is not up a lot today. Nvidia actually going down a little more right now, 0.34. Just very interesting. Okay, that's that. You can go back to top sector stocks. Let's move on to sectors. Okay, so sectors, leading the pack is real estate sector, which doesn't move the market. What I mean by that is the sector doesn't move the market. The weighting is like so little, just whatever real estate stocks do, it doesn't matter. Um, Discretionary, that's Amazon, your Tesla, and your Home Depot. Utilities, okay. And who's the laggards this morning? We got Staples, Healthcare, that's Eli Lilly, Energy, that's Chevron, okay. That's what's going on there. The big out of the indexes, the Russell is up 0.67 compared to only 0.11 and 0.03 to the SPY, and the Dow is down 0.04. So that Russell, a wild Russell, could this be the move? Who knows, right? Who knows? All right, let's move on to news, economic calendar, and news. All right, so this morning we have durable goods. All right, that's what's going to report durable goods. We have Fed Bar speaking at 9:05 a.m. before the market opens. Okay, at 9 a.m. you got Case Shiller home price, consumer confidence at 10 a.m. But if I open this up to a little lower impact, if you look at 10 a.m., you have Richmond Fed manufacturing, Richmond Fed services, Dallas Fed at 10:30. Okay, so at 10, along with this CB consumer confidence, and all these other, you could get a pro pop of volatility here. I'm gonna probably try to stay away from entering any trade at 10 a.m. Okay, I'm really not gonna be interested in getting whipped out of a position there. Okay, and we have tomorrow GDP, more Fed speak. Okay, this week's a big week of Fed speak. Let's look at the juice. I don't really think there's anything. And again, this is Goldman Sachs CEO. Consumer behavior has softened, especially in the lower tier of the economy. Um, Yellen spoke earlier. I don't really. It doesn't really matter what she says. Um, I don't see a lot there. Let's move on to what I was looking over before about those oil companies. Here we go. This is what I was talking about here. Let's just go to the headline news. I probably already talked about it. Oh no, I didn't talk about this. This is Macy's forecast annual sales below estimates to shutter 150 stores. Okay, Lowe's projects weeks 2024 sales as U.S. home improvement recovery drags, but Lowe's isn't even down that much. Pretty interesting. Um, Zoom beats estimates. Amazon wins appeal. Bristol Myers Squibb CEO says India to have the largest R&D presence outside the U.S. All right, let's go to that oil because that would explain why these stocks are down a little bit. All right, it says right here, ExxonMobil Corp said on Monday it may preempt Chevron Corp's acquisition of a 30% stake in a giant Guyana oil block, the centerpiece of its deal for Hess Corp. So that's why Hess and Chevron are down. The companies are in talks on Exxon's claim it has a right to first refusal of any sale of the Star Brock block, a giant field off the coast of Guyana that contains at least 11 million barrels of oil. The dispute between the top U.S. oil producers, could end Chevron's $53 billion deal for Hess. Chevron warned in a securities filing if the deal falls apart, Hess could be liable for $1.7 billion breakup fee. Okay, that explains why Chevron and Hess are down. Okay, just wanted to see that. Let's see here. Just trying to see other news. All right, Domino's Pizza obviously got a target rise. MicroStrategy, let's see, Concord Generally raises target price at 9.75 from 6.17. That's a huge price target raise. And JP Morgan cuts target price to 80 from 83 for Zoom, even though they just beat earnings. Okay, that's what's going on there. Let's look at earnings actually. And we know after the close, Unity, Zoom, Workday, talked about those already. Norwegian Cruise Lines obviously had good earnings. Lowe's, no. So this morning, Macy's, that wasn't great either, what they said. All right, so today we got Devon, Force Solar. Kava actually reported last night, and they were good, the earnings. But what I saw, they were good. Last time I checked, they were up. Last time I checked, they were up. I don't see them up there anymore. But they are up. I don't think I have them on my list. And Beyond Meat, that's all after the close today. Okay. So nothing earth moving, big market cap weighted anything this week, but still important stocks. All right. We're heading towards the end of the earnings season. So that is that. All right. Let's get over to the daily charts here. All right. Now, yesterday, this is the SPY. I did talk about this channel here, this trend line on the top here. Now, you notice starting from here, every time we hit this, you kind of pull back. Well, we hit it again on Friday. Now, look, we got our pullback. Can we go to about 500 or 498? I would say that's not accurate. I gotta push this up here. Let's see here. Okay, this is more accurate. All right, so let's say now we have poor core PCE this week, but let's just say we were to pull back. So you go to the, let's say Friday, you could see it down to 500, right? If the market kind of obviously going to move to the right, possibly get a pullback to 500. Doesn't mean you have to, but you can see each time we rise up here, even though you get a little rise again, right? It tends to hit back, go back to this, goes back. Well, this is a secondary trend line, right? And then once this starts a new trend line right here, right? Notice every time we push up, even though we have a couple days, we come back, we push up, right? Then you have the big gap up and we push up. So it doesn't mean you can't do this, but then still do this. So that's what's going on with the SPY. Now the SPY this morning is at 506.20. So 506.20. We're right at the lows of yesterday. Okay, earlier we were higher. Okay, it was making a little bit of a run along with the Nasdaq. So this is, not the most bullish thing if you're at the lows of yesterday. So if we zoom in there, okay, we're at the lows. We're close to, we're about, what I say, 506.20. Yeah, right here at the lows. Okay, so we'll just have to see what happens here. Let's go to the Qs. Also has that channel here, right here, that it didn't touch the top of the channel, right? So this, I'm saying in the weekly chart, there's 3 weekly candles that like hit up, hit up, hit up, hit up, all resistance hitting their heads on this resistance, also XLK, which I think that the Qs has one more push up possibly in it. Okay, but we just have to see. Okay, if you look at what happened yesterday, okay, yesterday it was the stronger index. The SPY was weaker, relatively weaker. The Nasdaq was strong, which the markets weren't really in sync. Microsoft and Apple were not really strong yesterday. Google as well. But Nasdaq was still like pushing. But when you have Microsoft and Microsoft and Apple weak, Google weak, but Tesla was strong. So it was like it was not the best environment to trade. So you can see what we did here. It looked like it wanted to break, but just the internals were not that strong. Okay, so it kind of closed down here, and where are we at now? 437.20, 437.20, right in the middle of the range. Now, just earlier we were making a move again, and we pulled back. Okay, we pulled back. So we were just making a move earlier, but this is the overnight, so anything can happen in the overnight. But earlier it was making a nice little run. It did pull back deeper at like 415 around, I believe, and you hit like a demand zone in the Nasdaq, and then it got bought up. So that was responsible for some of this move overnight. But we just have to see, really. And then if we go to the triple-headed monster, again, fear creeps in only briefly in this market. Now let's look at the 10-year yield. It should be, well, okay. I wasn't expecting that because 30-year bonds are being bought. Okay, so 30-year bonds are being bought, but that doesn't always mean a direct correlation. Oh yeah, it does here. I'm sorry. I'm thinking it was up just because I see a white candle, but it's not up obviously because it closed up here. It's down. So it is down 0.44, right? But it's still holding here. It's still holding here. If you make a move up, that's going to be putting weight on equities. That's going to just be putting weight. Okay. All right. So we have to see, right? The VIX is at 13. That's really nothing to even look at right now. There's not a lot of fear right now. Right now, there's not a lot of fear. And when we do have fear, it's a brief spike of fear. So let's just look at the dollar. Now the dollar is selling off a little bit. Okay, still it's kind of broke that trend. Okay, it's hitting the 200-day moving average. Okay, this is good for equities and commodities. A weaker dollar. Okay, so the 10-year yield usually kind of, I'm not saying they always move in unison, but they kind of were. They dipped, and now they're making a little bit of a rise. Okay, but the market moved up while they were doing that, which usually doesn't happen. So it's a wait and see. All right. Economic data is so important now. Every week there's a headline risk to news. Um, so that is that. We can get over to our market profile and the structure. Okay. Let's look at this structure together. All right. Like I said yesterday. All right. Let's look at this together. Okay. So yesterday we opened up here, did a little bit of that. That was the only long activity yesterday. And then it wasn't a, if you look at the market in like candlesticks, it was not a pretty market. It was going back and forth for a while. And then you closed at the lows, right? It's a pretty bearish close, closing at the lows. Okay, so but what did we do? I said most likely around 5,100 would become the new most traded price of the week, and that's what happened. Okay, we are below it. Price is here at 50.81, but the market did move value higher. All right, you can see now the profile is like this, and that's like a bullish imbalance to the profile. Usually the profile looks like this. So there's more room to the upside now. All right, now you can see, this is the beauty of overnight, right? You can see now that shorts, you have liquidity up here. Okay, so if we even come down here, right now, you have all this liquidity up here to punish for another move higher. That's what you need to really fuel a move, right? So that's what we're looking at here. All right. So even though it is below the most traded price of the week, and that immediately is, that would mean bears are in control because you're below this. But in the macro view, value is just moved higher. So, and yes, you did take out this. I talked about this week low right here yesterday. You finally broke that. That's why you got that move. But guess what? It recovered. Well, it came down in the overnight, went down here, but now look, it's been bought up from here. It doesn't mean it can't hold, like this can't hold, but it has been bought up from there. Every pullback is an opportunity in this market because of the momentum. That's how people are looking at. Oh, there's a dip, right? There's a dip. So if we look at this, we got the yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, and we got the overnight low and the overnight high. Not a lot of edge right here, just based on that. We're still inside yesterday's range. We're at the lower end, right? So prices are being accepted lower. We're not all the way back up here. We were up here. Okay, and you notice that the most traded price of yesterday was resistance. Okay, so we do have demand, new demand here. We have old demand here with that big gap below us. Okay, that gap is huge. Okay, that will be filled one day. So now we're in the middle of the session. So overnight inventory is pretty balanced. Okay, this is pretty balanced. Not a lot of edge right there. Okay, you do have now a weak high. You do have a weak high. All right, and that's the most traded price of yesterday and the overnight high. Okay, because now we know, right? You have shorts from here, 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 and here, all getting paid. right? If you short it from here, you're good. Okay. So that's if we break this with the week to day VWAP. If you come up here and you break this, that could be the move. Now you got a weak high here with these two highs, and you make that move. Okay. That's what I'm really seeing here. So if we get right into scenarios here, what I'll be watching, what I'll be looking for, and the only thing I'm probably interested in is two things. Okay. If we open up, hit this supply, and we come down and test this demand, I'm really going to wait and see if this demand holds, right? But even if it doesn't, like let's say it does, that's one. All right, that's the scenario. And you break this weak high and this weak high. That could fuel the move, right? Another one would be, okay, you break this demand, and now I would consider this possibly a bear trap. You go in here. I don't know how deep you go. Remember, you got that huge gap below. If that holds, that also could be the fuel to move us higher. Okay. But I'd really have to look at the overall market to go, okay, is this weak? What's Apple doing? Microsoft, Nvidia, what are we doing? Okay. Now, there is some action for the bears here. Okay. Below the most traded price of yesterday. The week, and we're below the most traded price of yesterday. So for the immediate term, the bears are in control. Week to day VWAP is red. The month to day VWAP is green. However, this month's going to end. Okay. So how do we look at that, right? Just the opposite of what I just said. If we come into here, most traded price yesterday, right? And we can't break through week to day VWAP. And we kind of do this. Well, then we're going to do this. We're going to test the overnight lows, right? If we break that, we're going to hit this naked VPOC that hasn't got hit. And then we're going to test this demand zone. Okay. Now you could rip out of here, but this is a bearish scenario. So if we started to do something like this, rip down and holding it, this is the gap. This could cause cascade effect. This is another naked VPOC it's just an untested most traded price of a day. And this could really get crazy. And you can go all the way down to 49.80, which is the most traded price of the month. This is if this market falls apart. This is definitely in the cards. And this would cause a lot of fear. Now look at the profile. You have very thin volume here that would not cause much support. Now, if it does support, that's bullish. Okay. That's what I see there. Okay, let's go over to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, to me, in my opinion, offers a better move higher, just because it's what it's been doing. It's been queuing up. It's got a lot of equal highs up here. Okay. Let's expand this a little bit. You can see what I'm talking about. Now the Qs are starting to rise a little bit again. They are up a little more than when I was just speaking. Okay. Let's look at their profile. And let's just look at how they're doing. Okay, now this profile is a little different. Okay, it's more balancy looking. So you have real thin value, and then you got a little bit of excess here. Okay, now this moved the most traded price of the week up to 18015. Okay, that's where price is right now. Okay, now this is why I like the NASDAQ for the long better. Okay, because you got a weak high here. Okay, right here. Get the overnight high, most traded price of yesterday. Okay, and then you got this weakish high from yesterday, right? There's not a good excess at yesterday. That needs to be corrected. So if this market comes up, can break this supply zone there, this really can fuel that move. And along probably with Nvidia going over 800, even though Nvidia is pulling back right now. If you see Nvidia goes over 800, this should be what happens with the Nasdaq. Like I said, if you look at the weekly candles in the Nasdaq, we can look at that briefly in a second. Actually, I can show you that right now. Let's just show you that right now. I'll just show you each. Now each blue profile is a week. Okay, each blue profile is a week. I can make this bigger just so it's easy to see. So each one of these profiles are weeks. So just look at them as weekly candles. You see what I'm talking about? There's a high here, there's a high here, and there's a high here. These are 4-hour candles. So that's what I'm saying. There's shorts that really haven't been hurt in the Nasdaq that could fuel a move. That's what I just wanted to show you guys that. That's why I'm saying I like the Nasdaq a little better for that move. Okay. Now let's look at what the Nasdaq did yesterday. Nasdaq was strong yesterday. Moved up here a couple times, but then eventually got weak. Closed the lows, right? And then it came into its demand zone. In the overnight, it opened here, went down, found buyers. Okay, found buyers. A lot of volume was here, and now look, it's pushed back up. Okay, and look what it did. It has like these two lows here. That's a weak low now. If we revisit that on the downside, that's a weak low. Right there. That's a key level now. But look, it got defended. Now it's pushing back up. So you have shorts from here, 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 and here that have not got hurt yet. They really haven't felt much pain. Okay? Even here and here. That's why I like it. So, and right now, you know, yeah, you get some pullbacks, but it's like these dips get bought, and it's just like it's easier to be long. I mean, let's just be honest here. It's hard to short in this game right now. Okay, so you have yesterday's high, yesterday's low, overnight high. We're in the middle of yesterday's session, so it's not a great place to be right now. You're at the midpoint of yesterday, in the middle of the session. Okay, inventory is skewed a little bit to the long side. Still not a lot of edge there, but you do have edge, and you can see it's over the weekly day VWAP. So buyers are in control for the week, believe it or not. All right in this cluster. So that cluster is huge, like I just talked about. Okay, so big week high here. Most traded price of the week and yesterday. So what you want to see this market do is push up, break that supply, and hold these levels. And that can make a move higher. You got to look at Nvidia at 800. That's probably going to tell the tale of what we do, along with Microsoft and Apple. Apple's been lagging. Okay, so here's the gist. Okay, you're right at this key level. That's not a place to really initiate a trade. Okay, it's not the best. All right, you want to see what the market do. To show the market's got to show you their hand. So let's look at these scenarios, right? Okay, so very, very, very simple here. What I'm going to look for, all right, if I'm a bull, the first scenario is market takes out this weak high and holds it, even does one of these maybe, and then you got the fuel to go higher. Okay, second one, market pulls back into this demand zone. Higher lows, probably tests here, bounce, can make the move higher. right? And you just got a lot of demand here, and you have this big level here at 17,850. So I wouldn't be ecstatic, but if the market briefly pulled back here and hit this and hit this and hit this, that could be fuel also. Okay, so that's all buy points. The longs are in control overall. Okay, now can't ignore the shorts here. If this market cannot get over this area, okay, if they come in here and they just can't and they struggle, they try to go and they start to go under this and hold, you're going to come back down here. Okay, this demand zone right here, if it's taken out, you're going to test probably this demand, and you're going to test this most traded price of the month. Okay, just like the ES, if this gets taken out, you got monthly VWAP demand, and you got this big gap, and there's not a lot of support here with this thin profile. So it could get really ugly here. It could go down to the most traded price of the year here at 17,700. Okay, but like I said, it's just a scenario. You really have to look at what the market's doing. Okay, that's really it for everybody, whoever's watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, set alert if you did. Also, please give me a big thumbs up if you enjoy this content. All right. I wish everybody good luck today. Stay green, be patient, and have to see what scenario plays out. Right. You really want to see Apple get involved. You don't have to have it, but it makes it easier. Okay. It makes it easier. Okay. So everybody, stay patient today, and I'll see everybody tomorrow morning.